Hello and welcome to the Tongue of the Trees Recipe Hub. This is eucalyptus medicine and this is a recipe for chest congestion. Now this one is for the adults. I'm going to put all of the theory about the medicine in this video, but if you've got a smaller person, have a look along. There is one for 5 to 10-year-olds and one for under 5s. So we are going to start by talking about not eucalyptus, but this beautiful girl that's in my cup. I don't know if you can see. No, you can't. Wait a minute. Monarda. If you haven't seen her before, have a look at my books. We have a Monarda book. I swear by her. I'm drinking. She's only just shot through in the garden this week, and so I'm going, right, drink it, drink it, drink it, because it's so good for the lungs. It's the best preparedness I can think of for the bug that will find its way eventually to this house, I'm sure. So we are going to use eucalyptus, frankincense, monarda and some bergamot. Bergamot's a really good antiseptic, and eucalyptus and bergamot together are very good for clearing the lungs. Bit of a strange blend. It's one that Mum always used to use, and I've never really got to the bottom of why, but I have seen it just dissipate bronchial very, very quickly. So we like it. So we are also using carrier oil, only small amounts, a teaspoon of Tamanu, a teaspoon of sea buckthorn, and you'll start to see I'm very loyal to my carrier oils, aren't I? There's not much diversity in them. They don't last very long, do they? Carrier oils, a couple of years, and it takes me quite a long time to use a bottle. So rather than collecting myriad like I have with those, I only have very small numbers of carrier oils, and these are my go-to ones, and I absolutely swear by Tamanu and sea buckthorn for inflammation in particular. So a teaspoon of each, 4 drops of bergamot, 4 drops of monarda, 6 drops of frankincense, and 4 drops of eucalyptus. And very, very simple. We're just going to rub it on the chest and rub it on the back. So it's getting right in. You're kind of making yourself a eucalyptus sandwich. And there's not much to say about it really. Monarda, watch the videos about it anyway, but it's such a good respiratory medicine. I came across it when I was doing the research into bronchitis, and by that time I was nearly well from my bad lung. I'd had a blood clot in it when I was carrying Dexter, and I'd been very poorly, and it took a long time for my lungs to get better. And I happened to come across some data that said geraniol and thymol are capable of repairing scarring in the lungs, and I thought, well, I'm not really sure if that's the thing, but we will try. And when I looked, and I went on to Tisserand actually and had a look which was the oil that had the most amount of geranium and thenol, and there it was, monarda, and I'd never even heard of it. So I thought, well, I need to learn about this. Found there was an essential oil of it. It's not very extensively used in the UK and the States, but if you go abroad, if you go to sort of Hungary, everybody, when I go to the Drops conference, all use it, and they use it for things like labour. Very, very gentle oil, incredibly gentle. Very, very yin. It's so yin, and you just have to lie back and accept that you're poorly and get on with things. It will do that to you. You have to become very, very passive, and the tea will do that. But actually, I just love the feeling of just being very floaty, like a butterfly. If you read Kiva, the herbalist Kiva Rose, she always talks about how it's like drifting away on butterfly wings, and it just is. Everything about it's such a beautiful oil. It's called bee bergamot if you see it growing in the ground, so that gives you an indication of what it smells like. Funny how we've got a bee bergamot and an actual bergamot. Wasn't deliberate. It's just lovely. It smells like a blend of apples and lemons. So refreshing. So I love the taste of it. and you feel a relaxation in the chest, and you can just feel your heart centre softening. I cannot tell you how lovely it is. And it grows beautifully like a weed in the States. You can cultivate it and grow it very, very easily in the UK. The essential oil is taken from Monarda fistulosa, but Monarda didima is also tremendous in the garden. You just have to be aware that they like different terrains. So if you're going to plant them, Monarda didima likes to be a bit boggy and wet, so she grows by the pond and in places where water congregates in our garden, as you can imagine. Living on the border of Wales, there's plenty of that. And then Monarda fistulosa doesn't really like it so much. It likes to grow on mountainsides. So if you put it on a hill where the water drains off and doesn't congregate, it's very, very happy too. If you grow it in the garden, it can get like a rust to it, which looks pretty horrible. When it's such pretty flowers. They look like funny little chicken combs, ever so pretty, all different colours. But to stop the rust, if you give it some seaweed feed, there you go. There is a full-on lesson on Monarda. It's a very, very strengthening oil. I won't go wax too lyrical about it. I could talk all day about it. But the Lakota people, the indigenous people, one of the indigenous peoples in America, it's their most precious plant. When a baby's born, they bathe it in these leaves to strengthen the baby. And they call it elk medicine. And the medicine of the elk is this beautiful congregation of people. Female elks really like each other, so they spend much time together, and they go in herds, and they're not really interested in the blokes except for, you know, what they're useful for. But then occasionally, if an elk has had enough, she just goes off on her own, and nobody questions her, nobody goes looking for her. And this is very much like part of Native American medicine, that they kind of just go and do their sweat lodge, and they do their sun dances and what have you, and they work through the issues in the tissues. Beautiful, beautiful, it's lovely. You should read the Monarda book. I absolutely loved learning all about the plant and how the Native American Indians all used it in their different lodges and things like that. Fascinating plant, and it is my best friend. Maybe geranium is my best friend. No, I think Monarda is my best friend. So there we go. And then we've got this frankincense, which of course opens the airways, slows the breath, but just allows that elasticity to come back in. And what do we get when we've got elasticity? It means that things open and close, but also that means that the gunk on the chest has got to start moving, hasn't it? Yeah. So this is a massage oil. But if you also have a situation where it's just not moving, I would heartily recommend making this into compresses, hot and cold compresses. I'll do a video on hot and cold compresses because I think that they are underused in our industry. But basically what you would do is you would have 2 bowls of water, put the oils in, which is 4 drops of bergamot, 4 drops of Monarda, 6 drops of frankincense, 4 drops of eucalyptus into your warm one. You can put the same into your cold if you want to, but not necessarily, you don't need to. What we're going to do is we're going to draw the toxins out through the skin, and they come through like salts. It's pretty foul actually. So the first thing to tell you is we're going to use towels, but don't use your best towel because they really rot the towel, these salts. So use the scummiest one, the one that you use to dye your hair or whatever, and soak it in the warm water so it gets really hot. And then just be careful because you're going to squeeze it, so that's hot water on your hands. Squeeze it out, then lay it on, I would say on the back if you can do it, or if it's on yourself, I guess put it on your chest, but if you put it on somebody else, it is better on the back. So if you ask somebody to help you, and just lay it on, and lay it on for 5 minutes. See, it's a bit like going in the bath because the warmth of the compress opens up the pores, and the pores invite, the capillaries come to the top, It gets the oils in very, very quickly. And there we go. So what we're going to do then is, after 5 minutes have elapsed, it's lovely and relaxing just lying there, is we're going to ruin that by putting a different compress. Get a different compress. Put your hot one back in the water to soak, and get your other one out the cold water. Squeeze it out and put it on. It's a shocker. But what happens is immediately those pores close, right? And everything forces down and constricts. So the oil's pushed in as far as they will go. So I would say leave that on for 2 minutes rather than 5. Put it back in the bowl. Get your hot one, squeeze it out, put it on, and what happens? Open. So what you're going to have is this push me, pull you effect. And what it does is draws everything out through the pores. So I usually do 3 rotations of compresses. So hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, right? And by then the person's had enough. So then get your oil and just put it on and just leave it then. And that's very much like an Ayurvedic technique that they do. Oleation always follows steam, this idea of opening. In fact, you should do hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. You should finish on a hot one, because then you'll have open pores, won't you? And then the oils can go in. So let's run through again. 1 teaspoon of Tamanu, 1 teaspoon of sea buckthorn. But again, doesn't matter what carriers. If you've only got olive oil or sunflower, fine. 4 drops of bergamot, 4 drops of Monarda, 6 drops of frankincense, 4 drops of eucalyptus. Remember, this is a very strong blend. Do not use this on the kids. I will give you the kids dilutions in the other video. Look for chest congestion for 5 to 10 year olds, chest congestion for under 5s. Safety, nothing there that's going to concern me, because we're not going to use it on the kids. Not suitable for use in the first 16 weeks of pregnancy. So there we go. I would perhaps, again, if you were feeling like you hadn't done enough, just keep on putting that carrier oil on 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day until it's all gone. But remember, you can't do yourself any harm. All that's going to happen is, if you have used too much, then your body just kind of just doesn't accept it anymore and wheeze it out as waste. So there we go. That is chest congestion for adults. So I will perhaps see you in the next video, chest congestion for 5 to 10 year olds.